I think, business rates, they have worked well for hundreds of years, and it's only, in my view, particularly the last 20 years, it's become a very, very challenging system for businesses. A lot of smaller shops do feel aggrieved that bigger companies, e.g. over time Amazon, do not pay as much tax in terms of their overall size of company. The problem with business rates is that businesses are finding it tough. Some people, perhaps our noble Lord, may say, if you can't afford it, the business deserves to fail. But we then, as a result, have a very sort of monolithic high street, a lack of diversity in shops, and I think business rates do need reform. I think they need to move quicker if property valuations change. But if we're going to reform it, then we do have to make sure we identify where that additional income comes from.
So, but in principle, if we made some tweaks or whatever to the way it's valued and calculated at the moment, as a principle, you're not opposed to them?
No, because I think they're there for a very good reason. Businesses need to contribute to the communities in which they're located.
Do you agree with that, Lord Moylan?
There's a complicated thing to say about business rates because they look like they're a tax on the businesses that occupy the property. But actually, economically, they are a tax on the shop, on the property owner. Because if the business rates were taken away, let's say they were scrapped altogether or reduced considerably, then the businesses would be able to pay more rent, and in a competitive market, the landlords would demand more rent. So over time, as their leases ran out, the transfer of value would not be to the business, it would be to the property owner. And it was one of the biggest transfers of value to property owners in the history of Britain, and for nothing, just for owning a property. And I think it's very, very dangerous, these people who say we should get rid of business rates and it will help businesses. It might immediately, while their rents are still fixed in their lease. But the moment those leases run out and they'll be competing for space with other people, they will end up being willing and able, bidding up the rents because that's what their business can afford. They will not get the benefit long term. The property owner will. Why? Why should we reform a tax system to give that benefit to property owners, when what we actually want to do is benefit businesses?
But
one of the best ways of benefiting businesses is to cut corporation tax, the tax on their profits, which is what we should be focusing on, not business rates.
Two things. So if I just first of all come back at you in terms of the rates, isn't that quite an assumption that you're making there?
Yes.
So if someone, let's just say if someone pays, I'm being silly with my figures, but £500 a month, and they suddenly don't need to do that, that is quite an assumption that landlord would then say, you used to be able to afford 500 quid, so now I'm going to take the 500 quid off you. That's an assumption.
No, he won't say that, and he won't be able to say that because they've probably got a fixed lease for a number of 2 or 3 years, whatever, 5 years, where their rent is fixed. You can't put the rent up.
No, I know that, but we're talking end of term.
Come the end of the term, then he'll say, right, well, we can put this out to the market again. We'll see what people are willing to bid for your shop. And if I get someone who'll pay more, I'll take them. And you'll find people who are able to pay more because they no longer have to calculate what the business rates are. And he'll turn around and he'll say, I've got these other offers. Are you willing to match them, or would you like to find premises somewhere else?
And corporation
So that's how it works. That's how markets actually work.
Corporation tax, you just said it should be lowered. Currently 19%, expected to go up to 25%. What would you have them at then? What rate?
Well, I think we should be right down at 15% with corporation tax. But I really want to ask the question why businesses should pay tax on profits at all, when in fact the profits that they make in the end all go to people. So they all go to shareholders or out to people, and those taxes, those profits should be taxed in the hands of shareholders and not in the hands of businesses. I don't think businesses as such should be paying tax. It should be taxed as it leaves the company going out to shareholders in the form of income tax to the shareholders.
Radical thinking.
That's very radical.
Radical thinking.
Well, I would have to disagree on that one with Daniel, because I think that corporation tax is a huge chunk of what we need to pay for the country that we want to live in. And I think that as a tax, I don't think we can afford at the moment to put it down to that sort of level.
I'm not suggesting that we get less revenue. So we'd adjust the tax rates when people paid income tax.
But there seems to be an assumption of kind of trickle-down economics there, whereas if corporation tax is levied on the business entity, and most people don't like always paying tax. Sometimes it's a huge bill, but if it's going for the right things, I think it's okay.
Yes, going for profits. What we need in this country is more profits. We actually need a more profitable, more successful economy. That's the sort of economy that it can employ more people, pay higher wages, and we're not taxing the right things.
But you guys have been in. How long is it now?
Well,
About 12 years.
I can be in and disagree with the government on... I'm not in, but I mean, I'm not in government, but I disagree with the government about their tax policy. I'm quite open about doing that.
But correct me if I'm wrong as well, because, you know, the memory is a bit rusty these days. But wasn't it Jeremy Hunt? Wasn't he campaigning for 15% corp tax when he was trying to be the leader? Am I right in that thinking?
I don't remember that.
I think I am right. It has been known that I've been wrong, so if I'm wrong, I take it on the chin. £68 billion per annum, that's what corporation tax raises. Yeah, raises. 68 billion. It's the fourth receipt, the fourth biggest set of tax receipts in this country. Take a breath there. Go on.
One thing, Michelle, I want to reassure people, and I say this as a business owner and founder, we are not overly punitively taxed in this country, in my humble opinion.
But I thought we had the highest tax burden since one of the wars.
But relative to other countries.
Wow. Would you pay more tax?
If I had trust in the government that it was going for the right things to make this country even better and even fairer, yes.
Would you?
They don't give you that slip on your tax demand, I'm afraid. Please pay if you think we're trustworthy.
Well, I mean...
No government does
Might
that.
I suggest it depends on one's personal views about who's in charge and how they're doing.
All right, so here we go. We want Sir Keir Starmer now. I mean, you know...